Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over what was really wrong with the 6.0. So, I've been doing a little bit of research, been talking to a couple different people, and I figured since we have some nice weather today, I would kind of sit down here and let's break down what I think was actually wrong with the truck. So, I guess let's pop the hood on this thing and take a look. Alright guys, so as y'all know, this is my 06 F-250, just over 232,000 miles, and on about the middle of November, this thing broke down on me going down the road. It just died, kind of like you shut the key off. Got it towed back home. We had originally thought, oh, I need new hood shocks. We originally thought that maybe the fuel filters were getting stopped up, whatever. So, put new fuel filters in it. Yes, I know I need a new oil filter cap. I know. I ordered another one this morning. But anyway, ordered a billet cap for anybody wondering, to match my fuel filter cap there. But we come home, I ordered fuel filters. We went and picked them up. Truck broke down on, I think it was a Thursday. We put new filters in it Saturday. Same thing. It would start, run for a little bit, die. Of course, being a 6.0, everybody says, oh, it's a high pressure oil leak. Well, hooked the scanner to the truck. Truck holds well over the 500 PSI needed, even past operating temperature. So that is obviously not our issue. Okay. So, we checked, had a code for cam position sensor, replaced it, still nothing. We put new batteries on the truck, thinking, well, maybe, it's cold outside, maybe the batteries are getting low. That did nothing either, and it did a bunch of other things. I replaced the crank position sensor, replaced that cam sensor again with another cam sensor, OEM Motorcraft sensor. The crank sensor is Motorcraft as well, so those are both Motorcraft. So time kind of moves along and trying to figure out, hey, what's the deal here? So what we did is we come over here to the PCM ECU, whatever you want to call the thing, and unplugged this middle plug here, which is part of the engine wiring harness. And we found the pin which goes to the cam sensor, hooked a voltmeter up to it, come over here to the alternator and crank the engine over to see if we had voltage, and we were not getting any voltage from the cam sensor with the key on and manually spinning the engine over. So that kind of automatically said, whoa, stop, you need a wiring harness, it's not communicating. So we tried doing a pigtail, which goes from right up around back here all the way down into the sensor itself, and that did nothing. Didn't help anything. And then shortly after that, the truck got to where it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't start, it would just crank. It would never hit a lick, as my grandpa says, but would never do anything, would never start. So Well, you know, at this point we need to just order a wiring harness. Ordered us the harness, about 700 bucks. I got it in, spent all weekend, replaced it. Truck didn't want to start, which is kind of weird, but we'd figured, well, we had recently done an oil change. Maybe it had just all drained back down, and maybe had some air in the system. Because in between all this, we did change the oil to make sure that the oil wasn't thinned out or anything weird. So we did that. We were showing no injection pressure, which was kind of weird. Before the wiring harness it did. So we replaced the IPR, which, if you don't know, is back here, kind of underneath the turbo back there. Put a new IPR on it, and it built pressure, and then it would start and die, and it would start and die. And then I guess we finally got the air out of it. It started, it ran, it did fine. So kind of moving forward, what we did is end up replacing the oil pressure sensor, oil pressure switch, whatever you want to call it. Replaced it, found out it had some bent pins on the plug itself, so we replaced it, put a new one in. Same thing. Now the oil pressure shows completely fine. So that wasn't it. So then, you know, what else could it be? Well, it could be two things. Well, it could be a few things. One of which being this ECU, PCM, whatever you want to call the thing, computer. So ordered a new one, because one of the other things would have been the tone ring on the camshaft. Maybe it had a missing tooth, or it had broken off or something. But when the truck starts, it runs perfectly fine. So that kind of led that one out. So again, we have no sink here. We have no FICM sink. We have no sink here. So that would kind of say, hey, you know, your PCM is probably bad. Ordered a PCM, and found out after we ordered it that they didn't come programmed. So that's when you seen I had to have the truck hauled to a shop, because we had to give in the old PCM, ECU, whatever, to the Napa store for core. Looking back now, I kind of wish we just paid the core and kept the thing. But David up here in Greenbrier, he programmed it for us. No issues, or well, should have been no issues. And then we got a call saying, hey, you need a FICM. And if we look over here, I'll show you all the FICM right there. David called us, say, hey, actually he called my grandpa, but said, hey, that truck needs a FICM. Okay, so what had happened is, I think I have the old FICM back here, but he said the FICM was throwing everything off. So my door is stuck shut, but he said the FICM was throwing everything off. Need to order a new FICM. Ordered a new FICM that was pre-programmed, and he threw it on the next morning after it came in, and all is good. So I'll actually show y'all right now. Real cold start. Truck hasn't been started since, let's see, about 8 o'clock last night, and it's about 4 o'clock now. And it's about 52 degrees. So there you go. The thing starts fine. Everything's fine. So We got our mileage in there, we got our hours in there, all that. So I'll actually show you all that real quick. So before we pulled the PCM, we recorded the miles and hours, so we didn't lose any of that. I believe that's actually illegal, but we kept all that stuff before we pulled the original computer. That way there's no discrepancies, no funny business, whatever. So everything now works. You can see it starts. You can see I've put 538 miles on this thing. I know it's filthy, it needs a good cleaning, but everything so far works, except for the air conditioning, which for my original people here, you know, the air conditioning hasn't worked in this truck since I bought the thing, almost 2 years ago now. We've done a bunch of stuff with that. We replaced the condenser, no, not the condenser, the compressor, the complete compressor assembly. Replaced it, the orifice tube, the dryer, the relay, and now the wiring harness on the engine. We tried charging it at one point. It didn't take it because the compressor wouldn't kick in. That's the entire issue. It didn't kick in unless you forced it to. So now we're kind of thinking it may be low of Freon. So one day, hopefully this week, I'm gonna try to take the truck down here to the shop, hook it up on the gauges, and see if it has any Freon left in it. Because I'd kind of suspected that this truck might also have a leak in the system, because one of the times when we tried charging the AC system, we had a leak at the condenser, and we had to replace one of the little O-rings. So we might have some more leaks that we didn't know about, but I am going to try to check that sometime this week, see if we can get the air conditioner working, because here in Arkansas, I mean, it's March 1st, it's 51 degrees. In the summers, you know, up towards 100 plus. And with the humidity here, leather seats and all, it kind of sucks not having AC. I've done it 2 years, so 2 summers, I guess. But anyway, that's kind of it. So I'm gonna say what the final thing is that the wiring harness probably had a short in it, in which zapped the computer and the FICM, one or the other or both. I'm gonna say that's what happened, because if you'll remember, before we put the wiring harness on it, it wouldn't start at all. After the wiring harness, it started, but it still did the same thing. So I'm gonna say it had a shortened wiring harness, in which killed the computer and or FICM, and that was our issue. So anyway, guys, I guess that's gonna be a wrap. I still have a bunch of other stuff I want to do to this truck. It still has some issues, you know, here and there. This being one that bothers me when I'm driving, so we're gonna get that fixed. The park sensors doesn't work when you put the thing in reverse, and it automatically goes to off. You can't turn it back on. That is because I think the sensors are dead. The back window doesn't work because the cable snaps. There's just a bunch of little stuff. We now have a little bit of death wobble, so I'm gonna say we need to get a new track bar and a ball joint for the track bar. Needs new shocks. There's just a bunch of stuff. I can go on forever, but Anyway, guys, I guess that's gonna be it. So the 6.0 is fixed. Hopefully, knock on wood. Try not to jinx it here. But over 500 miles so far. No issues. So hopefully we got that behind us, and now we can start working toward our other issues. I'm getting everything resolved, because I would like to, you know, it's an 06, which is kind of weird. There's less things broken on my 97 over there, which is, what, however many years older, almost 10 years older than this. So I'm going to say this truck probably didn't have the easiest of life, but that's okay. So I'm going to try to fix this thing up, make it nice, and all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, guys, I guess that's going to be a wrap for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, or maybe somehow found this whole little deal helpful, please drop a like and comment down below. Smash that subscribe button, because I do have a bunch of stuff planned for this truck. But anyway, guys, I guess I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Hope everybody has a great day.